I have two big things to talk about today. First of all, the second issue of the Star Trek Picard Countdown comic book has released. Plus, CBS have released a brand new teaser trailer for Star Trek Picard. So let's geek out. Okay, so this new trailer is only 30 seconds long, but they pack a little bit into it. So it starts off with a dream sequence. It looks like Picard is actually in 10 forward on the Enterprise D. And it appears to have been lovingly recreated, whether that's by CGI sets or they've actually physically rebuilt it. I don't know. Maybe they had some kind of a fan-made set. Anyway, it looks like 10 forward and it looks great. They're showing a lot of really nice attention to detail in recreating familiar elements from the past, and that's awesome. I think they're learning some lessons from Discovery here, that whenever they refer to something from previous Star Trek, it looks like it's supposed to look. And I'm really appreciating that. Yeah, really cool. Another example of that, we get a very quick flash of Data in his first contact uniform. Now this is cool. A lot of the Easter egg nostalgic type elements in this show have been calling back to the Next Generation TV show. Now that makes sense because that's where it all started. That's probably what people have the most nostalgia for, and it's what got us into these characters to begin with. I've been thinking, guys, don't neglect the Next Generation movie era because, well, I have nostalgic feelings for that as well. Particularly the visual aesthetic of the Next Generation movies. I love that. When it features that uniform, which is my favourite Star Trek uniform. So it's nice to see that they're not forgetting that era either. And I'm becoming more and more convinced that Data in this show is a hallucination brought on by Picard's Irumodic syndrome. So I'm really interested to find out if I'm right about that or not. We'll see soon. Another really cool thing we get to see in a quick flash is a Borg, our first real look at the Borg makeup for the new show. And I'm quite happy with what I'm seeing. It actually looks very similar to the First Contact Borg. Maybe slightly more detail, maybe slightly different design in what the implant looked like, but there's a lot of variety in Borg implants. In fact, there's a much bigger change from the Next Generation TV Borg makeup to the First Contact makeup. Much more than there is from the First Contact makeup to the Picard makeup. At least from what I'm seeing on this close-up of a Borg's drone in like one frame of footage. And that makes sense. The TV Borg needed an update for the big screen. But the big screen Borg looked fantastic and they don't really need to change. So yeah, I approve. So all these Easter eggs and callbacks are nice and I really enjoy them. But what's really going to make or break this show is the new stuff. The story, the new characters. So we get a shot of Picard saying, "I will do what needs to be done." That's our Picard. That's the character that we remember. And then Seven asks him, "Who are you looking for?" And he says, "Someone who has no one else to help her." Now I'm pretty sure this is referring to the character of Dahj. Again, this is very Picard, helping out those in need, the vulnerable, those who've got no one else. It seems that in this show, just like in the previous, Picard is very much going to be a role model to look up to. So, a pretty short teaser, but it's got me even more excited than before. So let's talk about the Countdown comic issue number 2. Now, this issue fleshes out the story a little bit more. So we get to know two important characters, two Romulans. Laris, who is going to be on the show, played by Orla Brady, and Zhaban, who is not listed on IMDb, so may not actually appear on the show. Now, these are two Tal Shiar agents who are falling in love with each other, and they're not so keen on what the other Romulans are doing to the local inhabitants of this planet. Speaking of the local inhabitants, they look pretty cool. We still don't know a lot about them, but they're cool-looking aliens, and we get the impression that there's more to them than is initially suggested. And the planet itself is pretty cool. It's got the makings of A Strange New World, which is awesome. So, yeah, some cool Trekkie sci-fi-ness kind of coming out in this issue. And it's got a very exciting ending that leads us into the third issue. Now, that third issue won't actually be released until after the TV show has already started airing. So, maybe it has some spoilers for the first episode or two? I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to that third issue. And of course, I'm really looking forward to the show. Not much more than a month to go at this point. It's getting close. Don't forget that I'm counting down the 10 episodes of movies that you should watch before Picard on my brand new podcast, Nerd Heaven. And those episodes of the podcast are being played right here on this YouTube channel as well. So they're easy for you to find. Well, I'll catch you next time. Live long and prosper.